on my other monitor, so
Make sure the
be
video
good.
is not echoey, please.
I reckon I can do that.
Because I got like 800 tabs open here.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to pop up.
Chickity check, check, one, two, three. Chickity check, check, a one, two, three. Hello, hello, hello.
Yep, audio's good.
Awesome. Well, I'm good to go if you are. I got everything open, everything looking good. I had a loopback update, so hopefully uh, my soundboard works now. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, I'm ready to roll.
All right, here we go. In three, two, one. Greetings, programs, and we're back for another episode of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
Oh, we had a fun time yesterday, didn't we?
Of all the experiences that I've had doing a commentary track, it was definitely one of them. No, it
Uh,
was fun.
we
It was fun.
finished
We
up,
did
yeah,
yeah.
we finished up part two of the Thunder in Paradise commentary track for the patrons, and man, I don't even know what to say. That thing is such a train wreck.
If you've never watched Thunder in Paradise, y'all don't know what you're missing.
It's
Joey, it was definitely the most recent.
it's something, and I don't really know what else to say about it other than it is an experience that you must check it out.
But do it with friends because
Oh
if you
yeah,
watch it by yourself, it's kind of sad. But
yeah.
if you get a few of us together like we did yesterday, it makes it for a great time. I think we should do more
Oh
Thunder in
yeah.
Paradise episodes. Like that's maybe not next month, but a little down the line, maybe revisit Thunder in Paradise.
Well, we were teasing on the episode that we think it would be a good idea to do an actual watch along commentary for the entire series and do it as as a nerd cave. What would you call it? Like a spin-off podcast.
Which is funny because this show started as a spinoff.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
it would be a
spin-off.
spinoff of a spinoff.
But how was your weekend? I know you got done with Plain Jane.
Yep. So Saturday we wrapped up filming for Plain Jane. That's the short film that my wife wrote and directed that I've been talking about the last several months. Funny enough, because you've been on a movie set before, so you know
Mm-hmm.
how things run. This was probably the most efficient set that I've ever been a part of was on Saturday. So we had to start early because we had to go to a previous location to shoot an extra scene that we didn't get to because of rain. We had to be there at 7:30 in the morning, and it was an hour away from here. We finished like setting up, filming, and breaking down in less than 2 hours.
Wow.
And then we went to the next location. We finished there like 2 hours early, and then we filmed the last couple of scenes actually here at our house, and we wrapped at 5:30 p.m.,
That's amazing.
which was incredible. Even Kevin Almodovar was saying that that's one of the most impressive feats that he's ever seen,
Wow. See, that's
and that's
why
saying a lot coming from him.
whatever project I do next, you're going to be a part of it, whether you want to be or not, because I know how efficient you are. You're good at everything, and hopefully we'll. I even asked Derek about this. I guess I can throw this out there. My band Falls from Grace. We've been writing some new stuff, and we plan on doing a video for some of the new stuff when we get it ready. And I asked Derek if he wanted to direct a music video. And so I'm kind of excited about that when the time comes.
Oh, absolutely. No, I love, I love doing my own projects, obviously, but I also like helping other people out and carrying out their vision because it's one of those things that whether it's music videos, short films, commercials, wherever the case may be, I'm a big proponent in paying it forward. If someone helps out me, Like you helped me with my first short, so I think it's only fair that I help you with your music video. And what's interesting, and I didn't catch this until Nick Smith brought it to my attention. Saturday, not only was it the last day of filming for Plain Jane, it was 5 years to the date that my first short, The Parker Syndrome, premiered in Pensacola.
That's wow, dude. You know what I was thinking? How long it's been since we worked on Parker syndrome? Like that was so long ago now. That was like what 6 years ago that we were
Yep,
filming.
I was talking with Kevin about that, and December will be 6 years since we shot it. That's and so much has changed in that amount of time. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Same with Monsters Anonymous. I mean, this year is 8 years for Monsters Anonymous. Feels like it
So
just happened.
crazy. I know it seems like a year ago that you guys were shooting it. It's insane. But how was your weekend?
It was good. Went to New Orleans on Saturday and hung out for a little bit. And yesterday, actually, I want to talk about this because this is sort of a retro thing. So, do you use Threads at all?
Rarely, but I
Uh,
do have it.
I kind of like Threads. It's a much nicer Twitter sometimes when I'm not getting yelled at for some stuff. But I posed a question to movie Threads yesterday, and there's this movie that's been haunting me my entire life. Like I just never knew if I really saw this or if it was some kind of like ET fueled fever dream. But I just remember this movie from when I was a kid. It was a TV movie about this little alien that had these like he had big eyes and like bony protrusions out of his head. And I posed this question to different movie on Reddit, Twitter before. Never could get an answer for it. All the Google searches. I've even gone back and looked at TV guides from like 1983 and 84 looking for what could have been this movie. Never found anything. And all the same, and whenever I asked the questions or go on Google searches, always came back the same. It was always like Mac and Me or this movie called Nuki. And just all these different kind of movies. And one guy came back yesterday and was like, Flight of the Navigator. I'm like, I know what Flight of the Navigator is, okay? And then this one guy came out and I asked this question. Same thing I said. It was a movie on TV about this little alien with the bony protrusions, big eyes, and all that. Got a couple of different answers, and one guy doesn't even have a profile picture. Comes in and says, Wishman. I'm like, okay, what is Wishman? Looked it up on Google. That's it. That's the movie. I
Wow.
found it after all these years. It was real. I saw this. It was
Yeah, I've never heard of that movie.
nobody has like it aired from I actually found I found it, so I went down a Google rabbit hole, and there's this one guy that did a review of it on a website, and he only reviewed it because he found it on a VHS tape that his dad had taped it back when it aired. It was like January 26th or 27th, 1983 is when this thing aired. It was supposed to be a pilot because ABC wanted that sweet, sweet ET money. So they commissioned a pilot. They filmed this thing, and it has Linda Hamilton in it. It's got Linda Hamilton in it,
Wow.
and it only aired one time because they wanted this to be a pilot for a new series. But I guess as soon as the ABC executives saw it, they were like, no, not this. It's horrifying because it scared me as a kid. Like it gave me nightmares, this thing. And it's not even there. And one of the reasons I could never find it on Google is I kept typing in alien, but it wasn't an alien. It was a DNA test gone wrong. And this guy helped him escape from the laboratory. And that's kind of the story of it. And it was this weird one-off movie that they only aired one time on ABC in 1983. And it stuck with me for, what is that, 40 years now? And finally I know it's real. It wasn't a fever dream.
Now you just got to find the actual like pilot.
I know it's not on YouTube. It's not anywhere. So I was going to see if
Really,
our
that's
friend
crazy.
Joey Image could look it up and see if there's like a pirated version of it somewhere. and put it on Plex, because if they do, we have to watch this thing. We have to. We have to do like maybe a Discord party or something one night and let us all get in a room and watch it.
Yeah, I'm all for that. That's amazing though. Like it's even like it reminds me of your, when you finally beat Ninja Gaiden,
Yeah,
how you were trying to accomplish that for so many years. It's like the era of accomplishments
I know.
is what it seems like. And funny, and I'll mention this, I guess I know we need to get to the news and
Yeah.
everything, but I finally watched for the first time the unreleased Roger Corman Fantastic Four
Oh,
movie.
you finally
I
saw
found
it.
it on YouTube because so I'm Alex Hyde White, who played Reed Richards. I'm going to be interviewing him for Real Wisdom tomorrow, and I
That's
worked with
cool.
him on Steve's movie. Yeah, he lives around here. He lives like 10 minutes
Really?
from my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just reached out to him, and yeah, he's going to come over tomorrow, and we're gonna I actually get to do an in-person interview for once, which is very rare. But yeah, I'd never watched it. It was one of those things that I read about it for years in magazines and online articles, and nobody could find it because it was never like you had to get like a bootleg
Hmm.
VHS tape.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finally watched it, and I mean, it, it's about what I expected it to be.
Yeah,
Like
it's pretty
it's not
bad.
yeah, it's not great, but it was kind of cool because it's one of those like missing pieces of pop culture.
Yeah.
And the fact that it wasn't released meant that you weren't supposed to watch it, which makes you want to watch it even more.
Yeah.
Regardless if you know it's going to be bad, you still want to see it because Marvel went to such lengths to make sure it didn't get out.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually probably something we could do a round table about for a Patreon one month. Just that movie.
Oh, 100%. There needs to be like a full documentary about the making of that movie.
Oh, Joey says Wishman is on DVD on True TV Movies website for $17.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I might have to get that just so I can see
Maybe,
it.
maybe that should be our August commentary.
It should be.
The legendary Wishman.
Yeah. But yeah, we do need to get. We went a little long on the beginning there. That's okay though. But we do need to get
Yeah,
to the news. Let's jump into it, shall we?
sure.
A little bit of a slow news week this week, so nobody sent us any news. But if you have a news story you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And the first story is from notebookcheck.net. Got 8 new games coming to the Nintendo Switch in August. So let's see. First up, on August 1st, we have Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which I played back in the day. It's a pretty good game.
Such an underrated Star Wars game.
Oh yeah, that and what was the other one with the clone troopers? The what was that game? They just put out like a remastered version of it not too long ago too, and now Republic Commando. That
Yeah.
was a good one too. Thank goodness you're here. A humorous adventure game invites players to take on the role of traveling merchant and explore a quirky town full of quirky characters. World of Goo 2. You ever play World of Goo? That game's so
I have
good.
not.
Oh, you would love it. I think you should go back and check out the original World of Goo. I think you can still get it on Steam.
Okay.
Cat Quest 3, 2.5D open world action RPG set in a pirate inspired world called Peribian. They got me there.
I just want to play it based off of that alone.
Yeah. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Isekai Chronicles. No idea what that is. Some kind of
Try and
manga.
say that 10 times
Yeah,
fast.
no kidding. SteamWorld Heist 2. God, I love the SteamWorld games. I just started playing SteamWorld Dig 1 again the other night on Game Pass.
Nice.
Cult of the Lamb, Unholy Alliance, Dredge, The Iron Rig, an adventure and simulation game in which you play a fisherman fishing on the open sea, uncovering mysterious and sometimes creepy secrets. Emio, The Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, crime
I've seen a
adventure.
little bit of news about this on Twitter.
Yeah,
I haven't watched these trailers yet, but they posted some kind of teaser on the Nintendo Twitter page several days ago, but I
Yes,
don't know anything about it.
yeah, it's crime adventure played from the perspective of a private detective assistant. You assist the police in solving a mysterious murder case in which a schoolboy has been found dead with his head stuck in a paper bag with a grinning face. Ooh. Also, Gundam Breaker 4, and I think that's it. Yep, Gundam Breaker 4, action RPG, which players can create and customize their own Gundam models from hundreds of components. That actually sounds kind of fun.
That does. Out of all of these, like without a doubt, the one I'm most excited for is Star Wars Bounty Hunter because I played that game religiously for the GameCube. And it's one of those like that was a Star Wars game that I think was needed. And I say this as a Star Wars fan. I like when there's stuff that doesn't relate to the Jedi
Yes.
because they're used in practically everything. So it was nice to be able to play as Jango Fett.
And I'm really interested in that new Star Wars game that's coming out this month or next month. It's what's it called, Smuggler or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That looks really good.
it does. So yeah, there's a couple of good things on there.
Yeah,
The cat quest kind of interests me just
yeah.
for the names alone. Um, Emio the Smiling Man is pretty intriguing. So that'll be out August 29th. So, well, actually, a month from today.
It's crazy. There's still so much good stuff coming out for the Switch, and it just shows no sign of slowing down, even though it's at the end of its cycle. Like it's still going.
Go out on a high note
Yep.
is what it should do. Okay, so this is really cool and really heartbreaking at the same time, and I'll get to the heartbreaking part in a second. From TheVerge.com, Mario and Yoshi go for a run in Lego's latest Nintendo set. Lego has announced its latest collaboration with Nintendo at San Diego Comic-Con, a pixelated recreation of Mario and Yoshi from the 16-bit Super Nintendo classic Super Mario World. Like Lego's art sets, it's a 2D creation meant for display, but also includes hidden moving mechanisms bringing Yoshi to life. This is really cool because so there's like a little a gear you can turn behind the completed set, and you can make Yoshi's tongue pop out.
It
You can make
looks.
his arms move, his feet move.
It's so cool.
It Yeah, it's 1,215 pieces in the set, and it stands over 15 inches tall, which is pretty big. And it is available for pre-order, but the heartbreaking part is it is $129.99.
Lego sets are so expensive these days.
If this were if this were 80, I would pay for it. I know that might be a bit much, but because of what it is, I would pay it. But 130 is too expensive
Yeah, I
for me.
was I was in Walmart this weekend looking at the Lego sets, and they have a Back to the Future Lego set where you can do the DeLorean in one of the three movie styles. It's like $150. I was like, I can't justify buying this.
No. No, I have seen that set and it's really cool.
It looks
But
cool.
it says here it'll be the fifth adult focus set released as part of Lego and Nintendo's ongoing collaboration, joining the 2,646 piece NES console, which that still might be my favorite because it has the
Yeah.
TV with Super Mario Brothers on it. 2,807 piece Mighty Bowser, 540 piece Piranha Plant, and 2,064 piece Transforming question mark block.
Yeah, I
And
see
if these
the
came out when I was a kid,
no kid.
I would have got all of them.
I see the Nintendo one and the Atari 2600 sets when I every time I go to Target, and it just makes me sad that I can't afford to buy them.
I know. But when I saw this, I got so excited, and then I saw the price, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
no.
From the next story is from Konami.com. Silent Hill 2 remake releases October 8th. Pre-orders are already happening. Konami announced Silent Hill 2, the anticipated remake of the 2001 psychological horror, will release on PlayStation 5 and PC via Steam on October 8th. Players eager to secure their copy can pre-order digital and physical editions starting. What day did this come out? This was
May 31st.
yeah, May 31st. So this is, I can't believe this got past me over the last 2 months. But yeah, you can get your pre-order now. Versions of the standard and deluxe editions with full details listed on the official website, konami.com/games/Silent Hill. So if you're interested in getting Silent Hill 2, which I would love to play it, but I played the original and I couldn't even finish it. I literally had to stop playing it because it was giving me nightmares.
Yeah, I remember you telling that story. I've never played the Silent Hill games, just because at the time they came out, they weren't really what I was into at the time,
Yeah.
and just never revisited them. But this is cool though.
Yeah. At least Konami's doing something. Now do Castlevania.
Just show up at their doors.
Yeah.
Give us Castlevania. Our last story comes to us from our favorite site, NintendoLife.com. Sonic and Shadow Generations estimated Switch file size revealed. We're still months out from Sonic and Shadow Generations, but it seems the estimated file size has already been revealed by Nintendo. According to official listings via the eShop and Nintendo website, the digital version of this revamped release featuring brand new levels starring Shadow the Hedgehog will require around 13.1 gigabytes of free space to install. The original Sonic Generations was about half the size of this on certain platforms. You can also pre-order the digital version right now. There's the standard version for $49.99 or the digital deluxe edition, including skins, a background music pack, digital art book, and more for $60. And there are also some new screen caps, which is pretty cool.
It looks good.
What I'm ex Yeah, it does look really good. What I'm excited for, and I still need to pre-order the physical version because it comes with the journal that Gerald Robotnik, who
Mm.
created Shadow, it's his journal chronologically talking about how he created Shadow,
Huh.
which is pretty cool. So I'm definitely getting it. I loved Sonic Generations when it came out. I believe it was for the Xbox 360 for that era of gaming, and I can't wait to see it with improved graphics. I hope it's not just the Shadow worlds that are added. I hope they put in a couple of new, traditional Sonic worlds, because this was a game that I could have swore they would have done DLC for,
Yeah.
because there's so much history with like classic Sonic worlds, but they never did.
That's a pretty beefy file size for the Switch. I mean, you might want to free up some space on your on your card there to fit this game on.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna get the physical copy.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good though. These new screenshots, I mean, it looks great.
It says here, or Nick W says on Series X, Sonic Generations runs at 60 frames per second and is in 4K.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, you might have to do a little upgrade in there, Derek.
Get an Xbox just to play
Yeah.
Sonic Generations in 4K. Oh man.
Hey, don't
But
feel
yeah, I'm excited
bad.
for that.
In
Hmm?
2007, I bought a Alienware computer just to play WoW, so it's nothing I have never done before.
I think we all have a story like that where we've bought a system or something. I mean, I got a Genesis when I was younger just to play the Sonic games. So
Yeah.
been there,
Well,
done that.
but usually we go into this month in video game history. And I'm gonna throw it to you here, Derek. I know we're probably gonna talk. We got a lot to say about Super Mario Brothers 3. So do we want to save history for next week and go ahead and go into the review?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Well, before we do that, you want to go ahead and do our Patreon shout outs.
As always, we like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out Brian Piotrowski, Nick W., Eld the Zombie, Yup Fed, aka Knife, James, aka at Jimbo Jr. over on our Discord, Raven, Danny House, Justin Nispel, John West, Daniel Salmon, Mr. B Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, Tyler Watson, Axeblade07, Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, and because I'm in a good mood today, I'll say I am the Rampage.
Rampage!
Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Mr. Joey Image himself, and of course,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions and keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. For as little as $1 a month, you get your own custom RSS feed with 0 ads. So if you want to hear us talk uninterrupted for however long the episode is, all you got to do is give us $1 a month at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. But that's not all. You don't just get your own RSS feed. You get early access to our bonus episodes. If you want to hear us laugh uncontrollably about horrible TV shows starring washed up professional wrestlers.
All of them in one episode.
Yeah, well, yeah. All in one episode. Yeah, you can just throw us $1 a month at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro, and you get the backlog of all of our other great commentary tracks like Gargoyles, Real Ghostbusters, Tailspin, full-length movies like Transformers the movie, Double Dragon, Super Mario Brothers, not the good one, the bad one.
And like Derek says, no ads on any of it if you're a patron.
Nope.
None.
Completely uninterrupted. And I know ads help support the show, which is great. But if you don't like the ads, all you got to do is just one simple dollar and the ads are gone.
You can find $1
All
in
gone.
your couch cushion. You could probably go out in the parking lot right now and find $1 and change on the ground. You just give it to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Or look in, your drink holder in your car.
Yeah.
Chances are you got some loose change in there. I know I do.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But yeah, you can just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, send us your social media info, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And now we're going to be talking about boom, boom. Oh man, that music just makes me so happy.
Yeah,
I love
love
it so much. I don't even know where to start with this game because it's NES perfection.
Not just NES perfection, but one might say it's platforming perfection. It's Mario perfection. And maybe we should kind of put this into context. So, one of the first episodes that we did for this podcast back in the day, I believe it was the 3rd or 4th episode, it was called The Great Mario Debate. Because we were talking about which game is better, Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World. So we did that episode, but we've never done a straight up review of either of those games. Which this is episode, I think, 382, and we have not done a review of this. So
how? How did we go this far?
this is like if you're struggling for money and then you find like $100 bill stashed somewhere.
And the thing is, my love for this game knows no bounds. If you're looking on video right behind me here, that's a shadow box that Mr. Joey Image sent me a few years ago, along with this. I think it was for my birthday. He sent it to me, and I have a little Hot Wheels car here, Super Mario Brothers 3, and I bought this when I went to hang out with Joey up in Jersey. We went to a retro gaming shop, and I bought this for $40 because I wanted this in box. Didn't know until like a year later. I bought the variant. They didn't know what they had. I have the variant with the bros on the left. This is top dollar right here. And I'm never selling it. This is such a bragging rights piece right here. But
you got to keep that.
I might sell it after, when they need to like pay for my funeral or whatever when I'm dead. They can sell it and help bury me or cremate me with it.
I was kind of hoping that you would leave that to me.
Well, I could do that too. Leave
And
it to
I'm
you.
kidding. I'm kidding.
uh, but I mean, to prepare for this game, I watched The Wizard over the weekend just so I could get that reveal, and the reveal still hits me as much as it did back then. Like I see that reveal of Super Mario Brothers 3 and it just makes me want to play the game because I love Super Mario Brothers 1. I mean, that's the game that got you into the Nintendo. It was the game that taught you how to use the Nintendo controller. It was a whole game changer using that controller. Super Mario Brothers 2, I love that game. A lot of people hate it, but I love it. And I still think that they need to make a Mario game that goes back to the Dreamland where we take on all those characters again. Like why is Wart not shown up? At this by now. I mean, he was a great villain. But Super Mario Brothers 3 was the game that just had its hooks in me when it came out as a kid. I mean, when did it drop? Let me look on. It was released in North America on February 12th, 1990. I think I got it for my birthday. My birthday is in May. So it was one of those things where I just begged my parents I was like, this is all I want for my birthday. Just get me this, and that's all I need. They got it for me. And that whole summer, that was Super Mario. 1990 was Super Mario Brothers 3 summer. Like, that's all I played.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure my first memory of this game was watching The Wizard because, I've talked about how I was introduced to the NES. I was introduced to Mario 1 and 2, but my aunt didn't have Mario 3. And then I watched The Wizard because I rented it from the local video store because I had no clue what the movie was about. I just saw Mario on the cover and wanted to watch it. And I can still remember watching it in my room as a kid, seeing the title screen pop up for the first time. And I'm watching it, I'm like, I have to play this game. And I might be jumping a little bit ahead when I say this, but I think you really hit the nail on the head when you go through the order of the Super Mario Brothers games. Mario Brothers 1 started it all. Is it, looking back on it, the best Mario game? No, but it laid the foundation.
Mm.
2 is severely underrated. Yeah, it's Doki Doki Panic, but I think it has enough platforming elements that you could classify it as a Mario game. But the Mario we know today,
Mm-hmm.
it started with Super Mario Brothers 3. Everything from the overworld, the music, which I want to talk a good bit about the music because it's
Mm-hmm.
some of my favorite in all of Mario.
Oh, yeah.
The power-ups, it has everything. Everything you could want in a Mario game.
And looking at it with sort of a subject, not a subjective eye, but an objective eye, going back and playing it with that sort of like review mindset. One of the things I noticed, like playing it, is how much shorter the actual levels feel.
Stages are.
Yeah, they're very short, and they used to not feel that way, but they feel very, very short now. Like, and the thing is this game, I think even the world record speed runs are like an hour. Like, this game is ridiculously long. To just, if you're gonna sit and play this from beginning to end, it's gonna take a while. But even still, like, there's so many worlds and boards, but like they're all very, very short.
I noticed that exact same thing because I've been playing this over the last couple of weeks when we decided that we were going to do Mario 3 and Mario World back to back. I noticed that too,
Mm-hmm.
especially once I got to, like, in World 1, I'm like, okay, this is World 1. It's going to be the easiest. So I didn't
Yeah,
think anything of it. But then when I got towards the end of World 2, where I noticed it is the one where the angry sun is chasing you.
yeah,
And I'm thinking, this didn't really take that long to complete. But
yeah.
you're right, there are a lot of worlds. So there are 8 worlds total. And what I love about this game in particular is the variety of the worlds. So World 1 is like your typical Mario, like grassy overworld type place. You've got a desert, you've got your world that's mostly in water. You've got giant land, which is
Mhm.
really cool.
That
My
Mushmouth in the
favorite,
chat room just said his favorite world was Giant World.
it's up there for me. You want to know what my favorite world is? Is World 7, the Pipe Zone,
Yeah.
because I love the mazes and it has one of the most underrated power-ups in all of Mario, the hammer suit,
Yeah.
because you get the shell and the helmet and you can actually throw the hammers.
I think that's my favorite power up in the game.
Yeah, it's probably mine too. I do really like the frog suit, even though like if you're on land, it's kind of useless.
Yeah.
But I still think it looks cool. The Tanuki suit is, a classic. Everybody loves that one.
Yeah.
There's the giant shoe that you can get that's only in that one world, I think in World 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's man, this game is so good and it's got so much that it keeps pulling you back in for more.
Do you remember the first time ever discovering flight in the game using the raccoon, the tail starts going and
Hmm.
you take flight and it's like, whoa, this is different.
So the first time I can remember actually playing the game was on the Super Mario All-Stars compilation for the Super Nintendo. And like I read about Mario 3 and saw it in The Wizard, but yeah, playing it for the first time and you run until your meter is full and then you jump up in the air and I just like accidentally hit, I think it was the A button,
Mhm.
and I see the tail flap and you start to go in the air and I'm like, this is cool.
Because it's stuff that you had never done in the game before. And I think we even talked about it when we were doing the great Mario debate. I think that Mario 3 took, it basically a return to sort of what the first game was. It kind of took first game and elements of the second game and smashed them together to make, one of the most perfect platformers that's ever been made, because this game is basically uh it's like you said, it set the stage for everything that comes after, as far as 2D Mario games like Super Mario World and all the the Mario Brothers games that are out today, all the side scrolling Mario games, they all owe everything to this particular game.
And I love Super Mario World. I'll go ahead and say it. It's my favorite Mario game of all time, but it wouldn't exist if not for Mario 3.
Yeah.
Then I would say that with 100% confidence. And another thing too that I like about this game, so in Mario 1, you just fight Bowser once you get to every castle and every, like, 1-3 or 2-3. And then in Mario 2, you fight Wart and his minions that we mentioned earlier, like Mouser, Birdo, and some other ones. But this game introduces the Koopa Kids,
Yeah.
which I think adds a cool dynamic to the Bowser character. And even so, because there was a cartoon based off of really Mario Brothers 2, but there was a Mario Brothers 3 one. It didn't have the Lou Albano live action segments, which was unfortunate. But
Yeah.
you got to see like the raccoon power up on screen. You got to see the Koopa kids, and it really fleshed out their personalities and makes the gameplay even better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it also bringing in the Koopa kids like that and making and bringing in the flying airships. They introduced the flying airships in this game, and making the Koopa kids, the bosses of each level, was something that was amazing for the time. It's like, okay, we got these kids on the flying ships we got to fight, which I love the flying ship levels myself. I don't know
The
why.
music for those is so good.
They're
The
so
dun
cool.
dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Dun. It's still used in Mario games today.
And they're not difficult to beat at all. I mean, they're the easiest boss fights on the planet, but you still have that sense of accomplishment when you defeat one and you finish that world. It's just this game just does everything right to keep you wanting to play it.
And that's the thing is I was even trying to think of a critique that I would have for this game. but I really don't. Like this and Mario World are the two Mario games that I find myself going back and playing the most.
Yeah.
Because I've tried going back and playing Mario 1 and it's still fun, but with that you just get the star and the fire flower. With this you get the raccoon tail, you get the Tanuki suit, you get all the power-ups that we mentioned earlier. And you've got just such a bright looking game. I mean, like the backgrounds are pretty simple. They're usually just solid colors, but still like there's enough depth. Like you've got in one of the screen caps on the Wikipedia page, you've got the little bushes with the eyes that are in the background that, also translated to Super Mario World.
Yeah.
There's enough in there that I think it's honestly one of the best looking NES games out there because that graphic style still holds up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. I would go so far as to say this is probably the best looking NES game there is. I mean, if anybody out there thinks that there's another, I mean, there's some beautiful NES games out there, but this game just, there's just something different about this, especially like the character sprite for Mario himself is just so iconic and detailed, and the way he moves and jumps and comes to slides to a stop and like and just I don't know. There's just something special about this game, and going through the castles like in the first game. The first game is very kind of bare bones, like the underground castle areas you go to, and each time you beat Koopa, and he's like, "Your princess is in another castle." It's just kind of the same thing over and over again. But with this game, like it's all different. You come up with the thwomps and the ceilings that go up and down, and the stuff you have to dodge. It just added so many cool new things to side scrolling Mario games that carried over. All that stuff is in Super Mario World too.
Yeah, absolutely. Mushmouth brings up something in the chat that I completely forgot about. The extra rare ghost ships with the coins.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about those because I could count on one hand the number of times that I've actually had one of those pop up.
Me too.
I can't even remember how you make it happen. And I completely forgot about it until he just mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Oh, and
But yet,
we were talking about the music. The music was composed by Koji Kondo, who did the score for the game. Still, to me, one of the best soundtracks of any NES game. It's up there with Ninja Gaiden and Star Tropics and Crystalis as some of the best music for the NES.
to use another Wizard reference, when they unveil Mario 3 and you see Mario pop up in World 1 and you hear that dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun, dun, it's like it's so catchy and upbeat that it gets you excited about the game. I mean, it happens to me every time. Every time I hear that song, I'm like, all right, I'm in Mario 3, let's make it happen. But everything from the the overworld map tracks, the overworld for Mario 3, the theme song for that has been used in several Mario games, and there's been remixed versions for the more recent Smash Brothers games, and they're fully orchestrated too, which is even better.
That's cool.
Like you should listen to the Smash Brothers Ultimate soundtrack because it has some excellent covers of some of the classic games, and Mario 3 is no exception to that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the trivia here. Says during the production for The Wizard, the filmmakers requested and were granted approval from Nintendo regarding the script and the portrayal of the company's games. Super Mario Bros. 3 was one of the products shown in the film and was used in the final scene involving the video game competition. The film was released in December '89, in between the home console releases of the game in Japan and North America. The marketing budget for Super Mario Brothers 3 was $25 million. That's a lot.
That's a ton of money for
for
that time.
1989/1990. That's a lot of money.
I mean, that just shows the confidence that Nintendo had to put that kind of money behind the marketing. They knew they had something special with this. And yet we both love the Wizard, but it really is a 90-minute Nintendo
Yeah.
commercial because it's building up as a preview for Mario 3.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Do you remember the Super Mario Brothers 3 commercial? That ran on TV all the time. It was the one where you see all the people with the different color shirts, like blue shirts and white shirts and red shirts, and they're all like Mario, Mario, and you see the camera pull out like into space, and you see like the Earth, and you see all the people gathered together to make the Mario face, and then it
Oh,
says
that's
Super.
cool. No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, go look it up on YouTube. It's a really cool commercial for Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
But it's
It
awesome.
says here, yeah, in the reception of the game, it says here it's frequently considered the best game released on the NES. Computer and video games editors Paul Rand, Tim Boone, and Frank O'Connor awarded the game a 98% score, praising it for its gameplay, replayability, sound, and graphics. Boone commented that the game is nearly flawless and its utterly stupendous, incredibility, and absolutely impossible to put down for anything less than a fire alarm. And even then, you find yourself weighing down the odds. Rand called it the best video game ever, labeling it the Mona Lisa of gaming, and stating that it is astoundingly brilliant in every way, shape, and form. And O'Connor stated that the game makes Sonic the Hedgehog look like a wet Sunday morning and even gives the Super Famicom's Super Mario World a run for its money.
I was looking at here
Shots fired at Sonic.
the $25 million marketing budget adjusted for inflation is $66 million. That was the marketing budget. You want to know how much the game made just in America alone?
How
Let's
much?
see. Hold on. I lost it here. Hold on. Where was it? I just saw it. Um, Hold
Says here
on.
the development budget, which converted to US dollars, amounts to about 800,000 to 1.3 million, and adjusted for inflation would be between 2.1 and 3.3 million.
Yes, in the United States alone, the game had generated $595 million, equivalent to 1,390,000, 1,390 million in 2023 by early
Jesus.
1992. So basically, adjusted for inflation, Super Mario Brothers 3 made Nintendo over $1 billion just in America.
So I think that 25 million spent on marketing was money very well spent.
A little bit, you think?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So, we're both obviously big fans of this game as we've been talking about here for the last little bit. Where do you think this ranks, not just in Mario games, but in video games, period?
Oh, I see. It's still in at least the top 10 best video games ever made. I mean, across everything. I'm talking from,
Yeah, yeah.
Pong all the way up to what was released today. Like everything in between. It's in the top 10 best video games ever made. Like there's no question about it. It's the pinnacle of what you could do with the Nintendo hardware, from the gameplay of it, the graphics, the music. Um, there it's platforming. It's NES platforming at its finest, but just from the music, the production value of it, what it did for gaming from then on. I mean, Super Mario Brothers, the first one was game changing. For if it wasn't for that game, gaming as it is now would not be what it is. I mean, that game is like patient zero of the of the zombie outbreak that took out the world. Like it is patient zero. But when it comes to influence, Super Mario Brothers 3 influenced everything that came afterwards. Like if you were going to make a platforming game after Super Mario Brothers 3 came out, you were like, what can we take from this game to put in our game to make it better?
No, I think that's very well said. And I would dare say, like in platformers, it's easily in the top five best platformers of all time.
Oh yeah.
Best overall, I would say top 10. I would maybe put it around like the 5 to 7 range. I would think like I'd have to really sit down and think about it, but it definitely wouldn't be number 10. Like I think this game is that good. And I do agree with what one of the reviewers was saying that to me, and I love Legend of Zelda. It is my favorite franchise of all time. But Mario Brothers 3, when you look at the impact that it made, it is the best NES game of all time.
Yeah, and if you were to drop me off on a desert island and with a Nintendo and a TV, and you're like, you can only have 5 games from now to the end of time, this is one of them that I'm gonna pick. Or, if I get to have any video games I want for the rest of my life, I can only have 5. Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World are both on that list because those 2 games are the 2 most ultimately replayable games of all time. And I wanted to ask, like, what you think about this because you're a modern gamer as well. We both play a lot of modern games. What is it about these games in particular, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and even Link to the Past? What is it about those 3 games that we can infinitely replay and never get tired of them? But when it comes to newer games, like once I'm done, I finish the story or beat the final boss, I'm done. Like I just played Jedi Survivor. I finished the final boss, I'm done. I'm never going to go back in that game again, probably. And plenty of other games I've played recently where, went back and replayed through all of Mass Effect trilogy. I'm probably never going to go back and play them again. But Mario 3, Super Mario World, Link to the Past, I can play those anytime, any day, anywhere. No matter what I'm doing. Those 3, I never get old.
I think, and this is probably going to sound worse than how I actually mean it because I'm not saying this to demean or downplay modern games, but the nostalgia factor I think has a lot to do with it. But when we played it back then, the objectives were simple. Like you look at Mario 3, it's actually a very simple game. You have to rescue the princess from Bowser and the Koopa kids. You go through a level, you might get a power up, you might not. You get to the little block that has the roulette of the mushroom, flower, and star,
Yeah.
and you repeat the process. You fight a mini boss at some point, and then you fight a boss at the end of the world. It's really simple.
And that's another
But I
thing.
think
We didn't even talk about the mini games in this game. The card matching
that
and all that.
I love the card matching and the thing where you had to match like the thirds of
Yeah.
the different shapes. God, that used to frustrate me so bad because I would get the top two,
Hmm.
like I'd get the star, and then the bottom would be the freaking flower,
It's like
and
that
I would get
meme.
mad every time.
I love that meme online where it says, "So where did your anxiety start?" And it just has that picture, and it'll have like the top 2 matched, and then like the bottom one is mismatched. Like that's us in a nutshell.
You know that gif of the guy that takes his computer desk and just
Yeah.
flips it and everything flies everywhere. That is me after playing that little mini game.
Hmm.
But the card matching one is great.
Yeah. I mean
It, it's um
the mini
it's pretty
games
difficult.
are like. Do you remember? Are there any other games that had mini games within the game before this? Because I can't readily
Uh
think of any.
I'm I'm not sure. Like I don't want to say for sure that this is the first, but it's the first one I can remember.
Hmm. We'd have to look
But
that.
I love the
If If anybody knows
I
if
love
there
that
was,
game.
let me know. This might be the first game that had mini games within it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to do some research on that.
Yeah.
But I love the little mini games. The matching one is frustrating, but like I still play it because I tell myself one of these days I'm gonna get it right.
And if you're listening to this, which I probably 99.9% of the people listening to this episode have played Super Mario Brothers 3, but I know we got some younger listeners out there that have probably never played it. You're doing yourself a disservice. Please go play Super Mario Brothers 3. It's one of the best games ever made. And if you don't like the way the Nintendo one looks, go get the Super Mario Brothers All Stars for the Super Nintendo with the upgraded graphics and everything on it. That game looks so good. I mean, the Nintendo game
Yeah,
already looked good, but then you slap Super Nintendo graphics over it, it just makes it even better.
yeah, that All-Star compilation is so great. Like I have zero complaints about it because you still have the same gaming experience. It's just
Mhm.
like it has a fresh coat of paint on it.
Yeah.
That's how I could say it.
That's if there's one cartridge, and I think we said this. I said this last week. If there's one cartridge you need for a Super Nintendo, it has to be Super Mario All Stars. It's probably the biggest bang for your buck as far as buying a Super Nintendo game.
Especially if you can find the one with Super Mario World added to it.
I know, right? But man, I don't. We didn't even really talk a whole lot about the game itself, but I don't even really think we need to. I mean, the game is what it
I mean,
is.
I mean, like most everyone knows how a Mario game is played, but I mean, we covered, the Koopa Kids, the power ups, the different stages. So I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, the
But
addition
this
of
was
the
really fun. This
overworld.
is one of my favorite discussions we've had on the show in a while.
Yeah, and Mushmouth brought up something a little while ago too that I'd forgotten about. If you do manage to lose to one of the bosses, the Koopa Kids, whenever you come back, the pirate ship will like scoot across the map. So you got to chase it across the map again. I think that was a cool mechanic to add to the game too.
That's why you got to beat all the worlds on the map.
Yep.
So you don't, so the ship doesn't fly somewhere that like, oh, well, I've got to beat this level that I didn't bother to do in the first place and then get to the ship.
Yeah. But I love this game so much. I mean, I know Star Tropics is my favorite NES game, but this one is my favorite, probably favorite game of all time, other than Super Mario. This and Super Mario World are probably my two favorite video games of all time. Like they're just so perfect in every way.
Yeah. And do we want to give this a number score?
I mean, it's a 10. It's perfect. It's a 10.
I'm gonna be the bad guy and I'm gonna say 9.5 because what we're talking about next week I like just a little bit better. But
Yeah.
this is still a great game.
But see, the thing is, you got to catch me on whatever day I'm feeling which one's better. Because there are some days where I'll say that Super Mario World is the better game, but they're just so. It's like if you owned a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. It's sort of like, which one do I want to drive today? I'm good with either one. You know?
If I owned both of those, my name would be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne. That's fine.
Is pa? Something like that.
But that's gonna do it for this week. I hope you guys like the just talking about Super Mario Brothers 3 because it's just one of those games that has set the tone for gaming for the last 35 years and it's still relevant today as much as it was back then. I mean, the game, how many copies of this game was sold? The game sold 14 million copies by 1995. 15 million by 1998. By 2000, the game had sold more than 17 million copies worldwide, and it held the record for the best-selling non-bundled video game for a long time. But as of 2011, was the highest grossing non-bundled home video game with a 2011 inflation adjusted revenue of 1,700,000,000. Wait, is that a trillion or a billion? No, that's a billion. One
Yeah.
billion 700 million, equivalent to 2,300,000,000 in 2023. That's a lot of money.
For for movie buffs, that's up there with like the Avatar movies and Avengers Endgame as far as the amount of money that this game has made. That is stupid money.
That's half of what. That's almost half of what Disney paid for Star Wars in
Yeah.
one game.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No
Yeah,
wonder.
this
It's no wonder Nintendo can just do whatever they want now and never run out of money because of Super Mario Brothers 3, because of that game.
but see, like to me, you can't complain about it because it's such a good game.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if I've ever heard a single person say they played Mario 3 and didn't like it.
I want to know who that person is. If that,
If it is, I'm going to take all of their games from them and say you don't deserve these.
but I'm going to show it one more time here so you guys can marvel at it. My Super Mario Brothers 3 with the left bros in the box. It's so that I don't know what it is about that yellow, the yellow, the colors, the primary colors, and it's just that's video game perfection.
We've also got to admit that you and I both have a signed poster of
Yes.
that Mario 3 cover by Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario.
I was gonna hang it behind me, but there's not enough room behind me to put that poster up.
Yeah, mine is actually well, it was in my living room wall, but we had to take it down because we were shooting the movie in there. And I told Samantha, I'm like, if there's one company that ain't afraid to go after somebody, it's
Yeah,
Nintendo.
no
So
kidding.
yeah, so that was but no, it'll go back up. But yeah, it's one of my most prized possessions that I have is that poster.
Yeah, I'll never get rid of that. Like I love all my Super Mario Brothers 3 stuff. I even have a little Mario, pixelated Mario. I was gonna set him over here, but he lights up. But I couldn't find any batteries to put in him, so he's still sitting over there near my Nintendo.
Joey says, "You guys are in front of the same brick wall in the same room, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sitting right across from each other.
But that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. So, Derek, real wisdom about to drop.
Yep, this Thursday, Real Wisdom officially launches. I'll be talking with Alex Hyde White, who played Reed Richards in the infamous unreleased Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie that was done, I think, in 94, 94 or 95. Actually got to work with him on a short film last summer. So we'll be talking about those two things. And he's been in a ton of other stuff too. He's been in, I think he was in Battlestar Galactica. He was in Pretty Woman, uh, ton of stuff. He's got over 100 IMDb credits, and he's been acting longer than I've been alive. So we're gonna have a nice chat, and that'll drop this Thursday. I will be putting this episode in full on YouTube as well as the podcast version. So just head over to linktree.com/real wisdom pod. That's REEL wisdom pod, and check that out this Thursday.
And go check out the Open Micers podcast, openmicers.com. Me and Jacob's been killing it with the guests he's been pulling in for the episode lately. This week we had comedian Jenna Kim Jones on the show. She used to work for the Daily Show. She's got her own specials on YouTube, all that stuff. Great guest. Go listen to that episode. That was episode 216. Last week we had comedian Liz Mealy, who what an awesome guest. Like drops her specials on YouTube. She's funny as hell. Go listen to that episode, and just go listen to all the episodes. Not safe for work. Definitely, you know,
Pop the AirPods in.
yeah, pop the AirPods in, or you got the kids in the back taking them to school. Put it on low volume, let them play with the iPad or whatever while you're listening. But If you like comedy, please go check out the Open Micers podcast. We've had so many good guests lately. It amazes me that the caliber of guests we've been getting on the show, and it just keeps getting better. So openmicers.com, at openmicers on Twitter and Instagram. So Derek, is there anything else before we get out of here?
I think that's it.
And don't forget, next week we're talking about Super Mario World. And then after that, Derek, you want to tell them what you're doing after that?
So if you like Mario, you'll want to stick around for the next couple of weeks on the show because as voted by the patrons, I will be reviewing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga for the Game Boy Advance. I've not played this game in years. I'm really excited. I'm glad this won the poll because I've wanted to replay this for a while. So that'll be coming up in 2 weeks. So we might as well make this Mario month. I know we're about to be in August, but it might as well just be Mario month.
Let's just do this. August is officially Mario month now. Let's just
Yeah,
call
there
it
we
Mario
go.
month. But if you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. Nerdcaveretro.com is our link tree. That takes you everywhere you need to go. All of our socials, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our Patreon, and our merch shop, which you can get to ncrmerch.com. We have t-shirts, hats, stickers, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy little heart desires. Also, if you can't do that, can't throw us a buck on Patreon, you're like, guys, it's a tough world out there. Inflation's crazy. I don't have any extra money. I don't have $1 to give you. We understand. Times are tough. Go leave us a review and or a 5-star rating on all the podcasting platforms. That being said, Derek, tell them what it's all about.
Let's go.
It's a me.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
That line
Yeah,
was so bad.
that had to be the one to be played.
My soundboard is still making us clip out, so I got to figure out what's going on with that.
That's so strange.
I don't know what's going on. It just started doing that. Like there was an update from Loopback like 2 weeks ago, and it's just this soundboard. I have an older soundboard that I use, but I don't like using it because I don't have live volume on it. So
Right.
I don't like to use it, but I might have to if this thing won't get fixed. So I don't know. And I looked at the soundboard for all the stuff that I use from Rogue Amoeba. Their soundboard's $50. I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend $50 on just a soundboard.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
craziness.
I don't know what it could be.
I don't know. If it's not fixed in the next week or two, then I got to figure something out. I might actually start doing soundboard from the laptop and go through the my mixer here and see how that works.
It's worth a shot.
Because it sucks when I'm sitting here trying to hit the soundboard and then it just clips us out for no reason. I'm like, why are you doing that? Stop it.
It's that AI, man.
Yeah, I guess so. But we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Man, we had a full chat room going tonight.
We did.
You love to see it. Don't you love to see it, Derek?
I love to see it.
But thank you guys. Send us emails and send us some news. We didn't have any news to throw in there this week. But thank you all for hanging out with us, and we'll see you all